get that far because we all know time can be accelerated or delayed.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it right now that it's on some kind of extreme acceleration.
Well, yeah, the Lord doesn't want to see people suffer very long, and that's the reason why He's keeping things short. And then on top of that, if He didn't shorten the days, the devil would take everybody out or get rid of everybody on the face of this planet before he had a chance to come back and rapture up any people.
We're going to go on a break here. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Quayle, and for over 10 years and thousands of hours of radio broadcasts, I've been warning and preparing individuals and families of the great perils that are now upon us by having interviews with some of the more interesting and controversial guests in the country. It benefits you to listen into my previous radio broadcasts, which are available by subscription to archiveondemand.com or by calling Steve Melching at 260-356-2611. Time is running out. The information you may gain could mean the difference between life and death. So once again, call Steve Melching at 260-356-2611.
This is the Reality Radio Network on Telstar 5 Transponder 5 and on the internet at realityradionetwork.com.
And now back to Sherry.
Okay, we're back. Okay, Steve, let's go back to anything else that you've seen. Have you been near the 2012 Waller block?
I never run into that block problem. Neither has Carl. Of course, when Carl and I go into the future, we always go into alternate futures. And so it's, I think the only reason why there's a barrier for aliens and stuff like that is because God doesn't want them to infect future races.
Right, and He can change. He's got a signature timeline, His own signature to all these different things. He can change the signatures. He can trap people in travel, space traveling, or whatever they're doing, all these little routes, portals. He can lock them in.
Yeah, yeah.
And he can change the signatures at any time, keep them out, allow them in.
Well, that's the interesting thing about this HDR unit, which I sell. Not only does it tune you into the Christ consciousness, but you can use it for healing. You can use it for physical time travel, out-of-the-body time travel. You can use it to travel to other dimensions. And then on top of that, it tunes you into the Christ consciousness. And the more you use it, the closer you get to God. But by the same token, the more you use it, the more you get picked on, too.
Right.
By the devil. And I tell you, I never realized, the guy could be such a royal pain in the butt until after that 97 interview on that other radio station. And I don't want to mention names because that could get me in trouble here, but it was really interesting. I just got literally picked on and attacked. The guy would actually come into my room at night and attack me.
Who was doing this?
Satan was.
Satan was?
Yeah, and I'd actually get in hand-to-hand combat with him. And, I really hated it, too, because it was just really spiritually exhausting battling this sucker. And, but the Lord and I, from time to time, we kick his butt in, and then we send him back to hell where he comes from, and then he leaves me alone for a while, but then he comes back again and starts picking on me again, and,
Do you deal with a human element with that at all as well, as far as attacks going from other travelers or remote viewers?
Now what was that again? You mean in connection with healing?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of masking it. Do you get into other experiences or battles with other remote viewers or travelers?
No, I personally think remote viewing leans to the left, because from what I was heard, that had a military origin.
Yeah, it does. It's our intelligence agencies use it.
And I heard of one guy who actually was a close friend of mine years ago. I had to break off contact because I guess he had been abducted. But anyhow, he started using remote viewing, and after just something like a month or two of using it, he had a stroke.
And that's usually a form of assassination, isn't it?
I guess. It's one form.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them. Let's talk about Montauk, because you know Al Bielek.
Well, I've talked with him just for a few minutes, but that's about it. But yeah, that's an interesting story. See, we found out that, me and Carl found out in connection with our time travel experiments that they ended up sending some time travelers, which would be basically aliens, back to the time of Adam and Eve in order to alter the DNA code in Adam and Eve's offspring. Well, as a result, it ended up splitting the Earth's timeline. So now there's another Earth out there that you can slide into that is called Montauk Earth. And there's also another line that they ended up creating, which is called the Hitler line. And they created several other really bad lines out there where the dark forces rule supreme. And but it wasn't long until after they ended up brain frying a bunch of children's minds after they were strapped into that damn chair.
I'm gonna back up a little bit and explain to people that are listening the first time what Montauk is.
Yeah.
It's a secret base in Long Island, New York that officially doesn't exist. It's always closed down, but we know it's in operation today. And they have some kind of portal there that they use in a chair that was given to them by the aliens for time travel. And they use this chair to open portals to go explore them. And as brave as we are, we send children through these portals. Most of them are killed or harmed in some way. And some of them do survive. I've talked to some of them on the Internet that grew up in this horror, having to be experiments and lab rats for these portals. And you can hear their stories, and this stuff is going on. Our government is into time travel. It's into opening portals. Of course, they're dealing with the demonic elements, so they're going to get bit and hurt and harmed by these things because they don't have the Lord's protection.
Well, what happened was after the second or third time it's accurate to see what happened in the Montauk Project is that they closed it down because a Bigfoot creature, I guess, accidentally came through one of the doorway entrances, and they had to close down the experiment for several years. Then it reopened again back in '99. I think it was in the year 1999 when they reopened the experiments again. But after the Lord had found out what they were up to, he intercepted a bunch of their time travelers and told them, you better quit what you're doing or else. Well, they didn't listen to him, and for some strange reason, now the experiment's been closed again.
I've heard that there's a lot of reptilians around the Montauk base that are inside that base with the people.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it. But I know the Palladians are connected with that experiment. I know Al Bielek isn't a real person. I know he's some sort of android that was built by the Palladians, but I know... Yeah,
we talked about this yesterday briefly, and I mentioned that he had been walked in on. In other words, his soul had been replaced by an alien walk-in.
Yeah, but I just bet you as soon as I hang up with you, I'll get a call from him.
Yeah, I'll walk in.
Because, I better be careful about mentioning names here. I get in trouble, but nonetheless, but no, all the... I won't mention last names, but I mean like Preston and stuff like that, they were all, when they did those, what do they call them, those, played that tape recorder of their voice backwards, reverse speech.
Right.
You could hear a voice in the background on Preston's voice pattern, and it kept saying, "Help me, help me, help me. Let me out of here."
And who was
So, he was abducted. But so often people say, well, Palladians are the good guys. I even talked with a guy that I ended up selling a unit to who was a Palladian. And he says, no, us Palladians are good guys. And